All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. As this is the final day of the NBA's regular season, the New York Knicks are locked into the three seed in the Eastern Conference, and they know that their dance partner for round number one is going to be the Detroit Pistons. The Knicks came into this season with high expectations. And of course, the Knicks were expected to be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. And they've done that as they've won 50 games for the second consecutive year. This, believe it or not, is the first time you got to go back to the Patrick Ewing era, the heyday of the Patrick Ewing era, to find that the last time that the New York Knicks were able to win 50 games in a season in multiple years. Matter of fact, you got to go back to 92 through 95. So these are the years where the Knicks were coached by Pat Riley, where to find that this team won at least 50 games in consecutive years, but nonetheless, they've done it. Okay, so the Knicks came into this season with high expectations. They've been one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference this year. But you look at things and you ask yourself, what are their chances in the postseason? First things first, New York is going to have to pack a lunch if they expect to get past the Pistons in the first round. We're seeing a Pistons team that took 3 out of 4 from the Knicks during the regular season. They are flying high, and this Detroit team is playing with house money coming into the postseason. They're coming into the final day with a record of 44 and 37. So Detroit has more than tripled their win total from last season as to now. All right. This was a team that went 14 and 68 last year. They're young, they're hungry, and they also play a physical brand of basketball. It's not, I know people are talking about, maybe this is the rebirth of the bad boy Pistons. I don't think so. That era of basketball is over with, okay? But nonetheless, they do play a physical brand of basketball for this era in the NBA. And because of that, I think the Knicks are truly going to have to work up their sleeves and work for it if they expect to get past Detroit in round number one. Okay. And of course, if the Knicks are able to get past the Pistons, more than likely, they're going to have to face the defending champs in round number two. And we're talking about the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics are arguably the most complete team in the NBA when they are healthy, which if the Knicks get past round one, that would be another tall task for them. And if you're New York, it's got to be on your concept, on your psyche rather, that you struggled against the top tier teams in the league this season. You lost to Oklahoma City. Your struggles against the Celtics, your struggles against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and remember, the Knicks just lost at home at the Garden the other night to the Cavaliers. They had a big lead on Cleveland. They allowed them to come back, and the Cavs got that game without having all of their key pieces on the court for that contest. So it's one of those where I'm looking at the Knicks and ain't trying to sound like a hater, just more like a realist and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe they get a series. And it's just the fact of the talent that's in front of them that they're going to have to face. And on top of that, which is always a question for any team that is coached by head coach Tom Thibodeau, how much are they going to have left in the tank? You know that Tibbs really leans on his starters throughout the season. A lot of the starters typically tend to log a lot of minutes, and it's unfortunate because Tibbs has been a solid head coach throughout his NBA career. He doesn't utilize his bench as much as he should. And it's one of those where you just got to wonder how much gas this team is going to have left in the tank as the postseason this year. That's going to be the big if for them. So I'm looking at it, and honestly, I say the Knicks can possibly win a series. Okay. And I'm really not going to sit up there and say, hey, this team has what it takes to go out there and contend. I know they made some big moves over the offseason in the hopes to contend. They brought in Carl Anthony Towns, just before the start of the season in that trade with Minnesota, of course, picking up Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. But I just look at it. The teams in front of the Knicks are simply better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I'm not sure if they're going to have enough to get over the hump. They're talented, yes. Jalen Brunson, he's come back since the injury. Still one of the better players in the NBA. You have some good wings, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to get past the Celtics if the Knicks get that far, especially if the Celtics are healthy. And then on top of that, like I said before, New York is definitely going to have their hands full with a game Detroit Pistons team in round number one. You got to wonder because people will bring this up. Would it be time for the Knicks to move on from Tibbs? I mean, he has 5 years under his belt as the head coach of the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks do it, in my opinion, unless something catastrophic happens. But I don't think they'll do it. But I can never say I'm certain. Why? Because nothing is guaranteed in the current landscape of the National Basketball Association when it comes to their head coaches. I mean, we've seen championship head coaches get fired, but nonetheless, Tibbs has had a solid stretch with the Knicks. This is going to be his fourth postseason trip in a 5-year stretch. Last guy who coached the Knicks that was able to say that, you got to go back to Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy was the last Knicks coach to get them to the postseason at least 4 times. So I think Tibbs should be okay, barring something catastrophic. The Knicks have been an improved organization, not just this year, but in years past. And I've followed this team long enough to know about the dark years, the Isaiah Thomas, Mike D'Antoni years, the Phil Jackson time there, which was not pretty as well. And you look in the last 5 years, the Knicks have become very respectable. They have become contenders in the East, but they just, at least with the way that this team is structured right now, they have a second round cap. For me, another big question for the Knicks heading into the postseason, what are we going to see from Karl Anthony Towns? Because Towns, throughout his NBA career, his numbers dip in the postseason in comparison to the regular season. And of course, it's one thing when that happens in Minneapolis. It's something totally different when it happens in the shadows of Broadway in New York City because all eyes are on you. But nonetheless, this Knicks team, they got question marks heading into the postseason. And like I said, how fresh will they be? That's going to be the big question. But nonetheless, I think the Knicks Pistons series has the potential to be one of the most competitive series in round number one. Like I said before, New York is definitely going to have to pack a lunch. Not saying that the Knicks are going to lose that series. I'll talk more in depth in that when I give my series by series breakdown for the first round of the NBA playoffs. But like I said, the Knicks are definitely going to pack a lunch, have to pack a lunch. Second 50-win season for the Knicks in the regular season. That should be, an accomplishment, and that is an accomplishment for this organization from where they've been at. But nonetheless, as far as I'm hanging with the big boys of the East and the league as a whole, I think the Knicks are still coming up a little short. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And I want to take this time out to thank you for checking this out. And if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Guarantee you it is definitely appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365, and you can check it out. Drop a line to be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. And also, if you're on the IG, Instagram, please feel free to check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. And just like it is on the X, if you follow me, I'll definitely give you a follow back. So I know there's going to be some Knicks fans that are going to check this out. Definitely drop some comments. Definitely check me out throughout the NBA postseason, as there's going to be plenty to talk about, regardless if it's the Knicks or other teams. Definitely check out this channel. But nonetheless, until next time, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.